Hi, my name's Tom Shue, and I'm going to teach you guys how to work with Photomatix inside Lightroom. Now, Photomatix is an HDR plugin that you install inside Lightroom that allows you to combine images. So let's take a peek. When I say combine images, when you take a photograph of something, say, outside, you can kind of get an average of the sky and you can get an average of the shadow area, but it just kind of looks dull. So if you expose for the sky, you lose all the shadow information. And if you expose for the shadow, you lose all the sky. So that kind of the idea is you take several photographs representing each area of the image that you want to combine into one. Now see, a camera doesn't have enough range to capture the shadow information like this and the sky information like this and create a photograph combining them both, because the sensor just doesn't have that much range. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to select all three images, is Control A or Command A on a Mac, and then right click, and you're going to say Export into Photomatix, and we're going to align the images and crop the final result in case they're kind of crooked. If you shot it off of a tripod, it'll just crop it so everything is square. We want to do this by matching features. When we align it, we want to match the features, and we want to remove any kind of ghosting automatically, and I just do high. And we want to re-import it to Lightroom library as a 16-bit TIFF. So we hit export, and it will start sending those files out into the plugin. Okay. What it will do is it will combine and merge all of the files and create an HDR. So here we are, it's loading and aligning the images. Now it's merging the files into an HDR, which is high dynamic range. So it's bringing it in. Now there's two ways you can work with this program. If you click on default, okay, these are presets, okay? If you click on default, you're going to be using what's called tone mapping. And the idea about this is to keep all the information inside of the clip marks of the histogram. Now there's red, green, and blue, but the luminance kind of gives you an average of the exposure. Now right here under default, you can see that all the information's in the scene. We haven't clipped any blacks and we haven't clipped any whites. So you can use it like this, and you control the strength of the effect and go in and manipulate, the contrast of the image and the luminance of the image. And this is a really intuitive way to work with it. So you can set a white point, watch the histogram move to the right. Now see, you're starting to clip the highlight area. So if we set a white point back a little bit so we don't clip it. And then now if we set a black point, you'll see the histogram move to the left. Okay, and we're starting to clip the black area, starting to climb up. If you go too far, that black bar has climbed all the way up and saying that somewhere in the frame, like in here somewhere, is solid black and there's no information there. Now, if you want that to be solid black, that's fine, but you can add your black points in post. Okay? Now, say we want to warm the image up, we can control the temperature. We can make it more golden. We can come up here and do color saturation. So we can actually saturate the image with the blue. And then see, this is a little bit too much for me. I don't, use Photomatix in this way. I like to use it in what's called the exposure fusion because I think it looks more realistic. So if you choose one of these presets, photographic or natural, you'll see it goes into exposure fusion. Okay? Now, automatically, it's combined the images for us, but we're a little bit too dark. Okay, so I'm going to bring our white clip over to the right. Okay, and I'm going to change our blending point to a section where it moves us off that black area. Okay, and I'll just move it back over. Okay, now with this set to the right a little bit, I can bring in this black clip and move our darks in a little bit. And I can decrease the strength of this effect or increase the strength of the effect. So there's our increase. And I might need to move our black clip over and our white clip over a little bit more. And we can decrease the contrast a little bit or increase the contrast. But to me, this is more of what the image looked like when I took it. but the camera can't make this image. Okay, so let's adjust our midtones a little bit. Maybe back. And this is all to taste. So I'm going to increase the saturation just a little bit because the canyon was kind of blue. Now this was what I saw, but my camera was unable to capture. So I'm just going to save this image. Okay. Save and re-import. It's going to fuse all the images together, and it's going to bring it back into the catalog. Now, I'm sorry this tutorial is running a little bit long, but they're working in HDR. It takes a little bit of time to crunch all these files. So I appreciate your patience. So now that it's brought it back in, we'll right click, we'll go to our catalog, and we'll look at all photographs, and it will show us our image. It's going to be right here. So we'll just start there. There was our white frame. There was our exposed for the sky frame. There was our overall frame. And then this was the frame that we made inside Photomatix. Now, you see there's no halos around it. Everything's nice and crisp. Okay? All the information's there. A dead giveaway on an HDR is the haloing that you'll see. So now we'd go inside, since we're working with a TIFF, not a JPEG, we could go in and open up our shadows a little bit. Okay, we can increase the clarity a little bit if we wanted to. Okay, we can take our vibrance and kick it up some. We can set our black points and our white points now. So if we hold down our Alt key, we grab our blacks. If we wanted to increase our black point a little bit, and then our white point, you can see that we could bring that down or open it up and make it brighter. Right? And there's our highlight controls, so we can bring those up or down. Somewhere in this area is fine for me. And we can increase or decrease the contrast to kind of make it look more real. And then we can actually do some more things with our gradient. So let's do exposure. We'll bring the exposure down just a little bit. And we'll drag down a little bit of this kind of feel. Okay, so we maybe increase the highlights a little bit. Not much. Do some clarity on the clouds. And you kind of get the feel for what's going to happen here. So we go back out of this. And there's a final HDR of the 3 images. So that's it. I want to thank you all for taking time to visit my blog today. And until next time, we'll see you soon.